What's going on, you guys? Today we're playing the 5-5-10 bounty, so hope you enjoy it. Hit that intro. Cheers.
With the guy Brantzen, who has the Brantzen poker logs.
No! Let's go!
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
Welcome back to the bounty game. If you're unfamiliar, it's a 5-5-10 with a twist. If any player wins 2 hands in a row, everyone owes them $25. I start with $500, but my money quickly goes to bomb pots and bounties until I pick up 5-8 of spades under the gun +2 in a bomb pot. Everyone puts in $25, and we go straight to a flop of 5-5-8. What? Yeah, I flop a full house, but I don't want to scare anyone away. I check. Luckily, the low jack bets, but small, $45. The under the gun +1 bounty calls. I don't know what to do here. If I just call, I'll be out of position, and the action could likely check through on the turn. If I raise, I might just push everyone out though, so I don't know. I choose the second option. I raise small to $150, giving a good price for draws, an 8, an overpair. The low jack folds, unfortunately, but the +1 bounty player calls. That's good at least. The turn is a 5. Okay, I have quads now. He checks. I check. I just don't want him getting away, and I don't have much left, so if he has something by the river, he'll probably call. River is a 6. He checks. I go all in for $175. He calls. I show my cards, and they are, of course, good.
I flop a full house, and then I turn quads, and then I get paid, and then I get bounty.
Now I have the bounty, and if I win this hand, everyone owes me $25. So let's win it. I get 6-8 off in the big blind. The cutoff opens to $40. The small blind calls. Of course, I call, and we're 3 ways to a flop of ace-5-6 all clubs. I don't have a club. I don't love that, but at least I do have a pair. The small blind checks, I check, and the cutoff c-bets $50. Well, it's relatively cheap given my bounty situation, so after the small blind folds, I make the call, and we're heads up to the turn, which comes a 7. One of the best cards in the deck besides a 6 or an 8, as now I have a straight draw to go along with my pair. Still, standard, I check and flow, my opponent checks, and the river is an 8. Okay, I feel pretty good about my hand now. Any 4 or 9 makes a straight, but he shouldn't have either of those too often. I check, he might bluff or value own himself, perhaps, but he checks back. I say, I got it, and flip over my cards. I'm just happy to win the bounty, but I do not have it. Turns out he has ace-6 of spades for a better 2 pair, and yeah, it's embarrassing. Moving on, I pick up king-queen off on the button, the under the gun and hijack limp. I'm not limping, I raise it up to $55. Both the under the gun and hijack call, and we're 3 ways to a flop of king 10-3 2 diamonds. Good flop for my hand, decent flop for my range. I go for a c-bet of $80. I don't want to go too small on this board because there are a lot of possible draws, flush draws, jack queen, but anyway, the under the gun folds, but the hijack doesn't think 80 is enough. He raises to $300. I don't love it. I know I don't have the queen of diamonds, which is good because it makes it slightly more likely he has diamonds. This player also came from a much bigger PLO game and was playing super aggressively. I think he's going to have a lot of draws. I think I'm just going to have to go with it. I go all in for my remaining $750. He makes the call. The turn is an ace, and right away he shows jack queen offsuit for the straight. River, another ace, so of course I lose to the straight, and that sucks. Alright, another $300 bullet. In this video, my reloads will be the min buy of $300, but I've actually experimented since with a lot of short stack strategies in the bounty game and find 500 works the best for me. I pick up pocket jacks in the cutoff, the low jack bounty limps, and it's on me. I have 30 big blinds. I could just shove now, but I decide to just raise to $45. The straddle calls, the low jack bounty calls, and we're 3 ways to a flop of 9-10 queen with 2 spades. Both my opponents check, and with my pair and open-ended straight draw, I'm just committing. I jam for $255. And well, surprisingly, the straddle calls and the low jack calls. The turn is an 8. Yes, we needed that. The straddle goes all in for $555. The low jack calls, but I'm still feeling all right. River is an 8. Straddle shows 8, 9 of diamonds for a full house. Are you freaking kidding me? Low jack shows king 10 offsuit, so I was crushing the entire time until the river, but that's the way it goes, I guess. Another bullet. This one gets chunked down until we finally pick up a hand ace 10 off in the hijack. I have $190, only 19 bigs, and I just rip it all in. The main objective here is to either take down the blinds and get the bounty, or win a flip and get the bounty. Anyway, the big blind calls, we go to a run out, and he has king 6 offsuit, and I take it down. So now I have the bounty. I pick up queen 9 of hearts in the small blind. There's a $20 straddle, the cutoff limps, and the button raises to $85. Remember, if I win this hand, I basically get an extra $200. So I make the call, the cutoff calls, and we're 3 ways to a flop of deuce, deuce, 10 rainbow. I check, the cutoff checks, and the button bets $85. Now, normally this would just be a fold. I have nothing except for some backdoor draws. But for some reason, I just don't believe him. I know queen high probably isn't good, but if we see a turn that goes check check, I might make a move on the river. Okay, I call, cutoff folds, turn is a queen, so now I probably do have the best hand. I check in hopes he bets, and he does. He goes all in for my remaining $200. I call, the river is a 9, giving me 2 pair, but he flips over jack king offsuit for a rivered straight, and I get felted again. Fourth time's a charm. I pick up pocket 4s on the button. I have $210. Let's do the all-in thing again. Hopefully pick up the bounty button, and perfect. Everyone folds, I get the bounty button, and now I'm in the cutoff with king 7 off. Action folds to me. I have $230 now, but remember, if I win, I get an extra $175. So, king high, I go all in again, looking for folds, and I do get folds again. Yes, time to finally build our stack. Bounty, baby. And let's win it again. I get king 9 in the hijack, still have the bounty, so I open to $35. Well, it's not going to be easy this time as the button, big blind, and straddle call. 4 ways to a flop of king, queen, deuce. Pretty darn good flop. Top pair, action checks to me, and I c-bet $125. Now, remember, the pot for me isn't just the 140 or 150 in the middle. If I win, I get an extra $175, so I'm going to be using a little bit bigger of sizings. Anyway, the big blind calls, and the turn is a deuce. Big blind immediately puts me all in. I snap. It's a good turn as all draws brick, and I chop with some better kings. He asks me if I have a king. I nod. He says, "You're good," and he flips over queen 10. But then the dealer says it's only $140. I thought he grabbed 2 black chips, but I guess not. So I guess we're not all in. I have like $80 left, and the river is an ace. And now I'm in a weird spot. I see his cards. I know I have the best hand. He checks. Do I check back? I don't really want to give the rest of the table information on what I'm opening with, so if he wants to see it, I'm sorry, but he's got to pay. I put in my last $80 and he folds. And I get the bounty. Let's go! My next hand was unplayable, but a little while later, I pick up pocket 3s under the gun. Very questionable open, but I do open. I make it $35 and only the low jack calls. Heads up to a flop of ace 4-6 rainbow. On an ace high board, I'm going to be c-betting a lot. I bet $30 and she calls. Turn is a 3. Okay, we got the sneaky deaky set, and I'm just thinking on how to get all the money in. It's a small pot. My opponent is aggressive and she doesn't like to fold, so I check with the intent to check raise. She takes the bait and bets $90. Okay, here we go. I raise to $300. She takes a few seconds, then tosses a chip in. The dealer asks her to put in the rest, and then she says, "Oh, I thought it was only $200, and takes $100 back, and then folds. And I don't know the etiquette here. I think I might be entitled to the chip she put in, but I'm not trying to make enemies or call someone out, so I just let it go. I really doubt this particular player was folding an ace anyway, and at least I have the bounty again. And good karma, I now have pocket tens in the straddle with the bounty when everyone is gonna think I'm full of it. The under the gun limps, the hijack raises to $65, the big blind calls, and it's on me. Well, I could definitely 3-bet this. Pretty standard, actually, but there are a couple of things that concern me. I'm a little wary of under the gun limps, people looking to limp raise with a monster. Plus, I'm still going to be flipping against a lot of hands my opponents might call with. I decided to just call and see a flop. The under the gun calls, and we're 4 ways to a flop of Jack 3-4 rainbow. Not terrible. The big blind checks, I check, action checks all the way through, and the turn is a 5. Okay, I might actually have the best hand here when the flop checks through. So when the big blind checks again, I bet $115. The hijack calls, the big blind calls, and the 3 of us see a 9 on the river. Big blind checks, I check just looking for showdown. Hijack checks. The big blind says he has pocket sevens. I show my cards. The hijack mucks, and it looks like I'm taking down yet another bounty hand. All right, I go card dead for about an hour, so I end up switching seats to be on the left of a very action player, the same guy who went all in pre-flop with me with King 6. Anyways, I pick up pocket sevens in the big blind, there's a $20 straddle, the cutoff limps, and then the small blind, the action player raises to $80. Now, he's been playing a very wide range, so I go in for the 3-bet, I make it $240. He doesn't have too much more, so it's not a huge deal if he goes all in. But instead, the $20 straddle ruins my plans and he goes all in for $880. The small blind goes all in for $390 and now I have a decision. Of course, I'm not feeling good here, but the $20 straddle could have ace queen, ace king, some big overcards, so it's time to do some math. It's 640 more for me to call. If I do call, the pot will have roughly $2,200 in it. So 640 divided by 2,200, I need to win this roughly 30% of the time to be profitable. It's close. But then my opponent says something.
Brantzen, what do you have, like ace queen or something?
I have sevens.
Hey, I just want to go ahead. I'm going to show you, okay? I'm ahead of you.
All right, so if I know he has a higher pocket pair, I'm only going to win about 20% of the time. I fold, and they're off to a run out.
I know it's coming. I feel it, but
Yeah, I feel it too. That's what I told you.
oh, or 6.
Big.
Oh yeah, good move, good move, good move.
That's why I wanted that.
Good move, good move.
I didn't feel good.
Of course, it sucks to see I would have won, but I made the best decision with the information I had. But do you know what doesn't suck? Pocket kings under the gun. I opened to $35, the low jack calls, and then the heavens split open as the cutoff, a wild player who has the bounty, 3-bets to $245. Then the button 4-bets to $500. Okay, here we go. I'm all in for $1,300 with the second best hand in poker, and now the cutoff goes into the tank. She doesn't look happy, which I'm glad to see. But eventually she says she can't fold and goes all in for $1,450. And then the button, he doesn't look happy himself, which I'm very glad neither of these players look that happy, but he only has 500 more, so he goes all in, and I'm hoping to win this nearly $4,000 pot. I don't know exactly what my opponents have. I'm guessing high pocket pairs, maybe ace king. Anyway, the flop comes queen 8 deuce, turn 8, river 5, and the cutoff shows pocket queens. No, the button mucks, I muck, and just like that, I lose a gigantic pot. All right, it's my last bullet. I work up a stack a little bit and eventually pick up ace king in the small blind. There's a $20 straddle. I open to $60 and only the big blind calls. Heads up to a flop of king 4-9 all diamonds. I don't have any diamonds, but I do have a king. On monotone boards, I often use a small c-bet sizing, so I start off with a bet of $50 and he makes the call. Turn is a queen. Just glad it's not a diamond. I decide to keep betting. I think I often have the best hand when he doesn't raise me on the flop, and I want to charge worse pairs or draws. I bet $125, but he decides to fold, and I take it down. Which brings me to the last hand of the night. Ace 4 off on the button. I have the bounty now, so I want to play, but in this one, there's a triple straddle to $40, which means if I want to open this hand, it's gonna be expensive. But all right, I'm on the button, I have an ace, and I have the bounty. I open to $120. Only the $10 straddle calls, and we're heads up to a flop of Jack 9 for all hearts. Another monotone board, and after he checks, similar to last hand, I go for a c-bet of $110. I have bottom pair, but more than that, I just want to take it down now and collect the bounties. But he has other plans. He min raises to $220. Now, I don't know, a min raise, he either looks really strong or maybe he just thinks I'm full of it. I have no hearts in my hand. If this was a multi-way pot, it's a snap fold, but we're heads up. It's hard to flop a flush, right? Maybe he just has the ace of hearts. To be honest, I was actually tilted from the king's hand earlier and all the beats from earlier in the night, and for some reason, I just didn't want to give up now. I don't think I'd be re-raising here with anything in position, so I call, and the turn is an offsuit 3. Now he bets $150. It's tiny, and I feel like one of two things are happening. Either A, he has a monster hand and wants to reel me in, or B, he thinks I have garbage and we're playing one elaborate game of chicken. All right, buddy, I'm all in for $500, and he could not have called quicker. He flips over Queen 10 of hearts for an insane hand. And of course, I lose in one of the most embarrassing punts I think I've ever made. Yeah, I mean, I'm not standing by this play in any way. I think it was pretty bad, but frankly, I was on tilt. And for me, that's the downside of the bounty game. There's so much variance that it's the one game that can actually throw me off mentally when so many bad things happen in a row. But even though I'm not proud of it, I thought I should still show you. And with that, I called it a night.
Well, that was super rough. Just got it handed to me on the bounty table. I was in for a total of $2,000 and just got blown away. Left with $4, so a loss of $19.96. Man, the king's hand against pocket queens and whatever the other guy had, probably pocket jacks or ace king. That was really, really bad. Man, it's almost $4,000. Oh well, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.